Luther Family Ford Nonprofit of the Week, and we have a wonderful guest in studio joining us on this Tuesday. Luther Family Ford presents the Memory Cafe of the Red River Valley. And Deb Call, welcome to the Coffee Club, Deb.
Welcome,
Thank you
Deb.
so much. It's so great to be here.
Yes, we love that you were able to come in. So I was learning a lot that I didn't even know off air before we got on, because Deb, I thought Memory Cafe honestly was for anybody suffering memory loss, but you said that actually so much more.
Right. It's for people who are suffering from memory loss or living with memory loss, trying to live beyond their memory loss. But it's not just for people who are living with memory loss caused by Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. So there are many different memory cafes around the world. Each one is different. There's no connection with one to the other. And so everyone can kind of frame up their memory cafe the way they see fit for their community. And so when we started Memory Cafe 6 years ago of the Red River Valley, we decided we wanted to meet several times a month. And we wanted it to include only people who are living with memory loss for any medical reason and their care partners. So we don't invite housing, we don't invite community members, businesses to participate in our events. It's only for people who are living with memory loss and their care partners to come. And so what we do, we started out meeting at Fargo Cass Public Health and DMF office. We outgrew that location very quickly. We've outgrown our location several times since then. And we are now meeting 3 times every week. Twice on Mondays and once on Wednesdays. And we now are outgrowing our location again. We just got our new downtown location 18 months ago, and we've outgrown it. We had over 25 people at our music therapy group yesterday, packed a room that we have, our little community room. We had a coffee and conversation group for the men and the women in separate rooms in our downtown center yesterday. Again, it was just packed. And so we are really deepening our reach into the community and expanding our services to include many more organizations that we're really thrilled to partner with, other beautiful nonprofit organizations, churches, Valley Senior Services, Lutheran Social Services. We really are reaching above and beyond just our little Memory Cafe of the Red River Valley organization. And it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, and Deb, I love that you say that it's also for the health providers, or the care providers is what I should say,
Yes.
because when you are taking care of somebody that is suffering from memory loss, it can really take a toll on the people that are caring for them and be a lot. So I feel like this is a way where people can bond too. The caregivers can talk to each other, and they can kind of lean on each other and be there for each other for support.
Absolutely. That's just a beautiful offshoot of this, and that's transcending what we even thought when we envisioned our Memory Cafe and what it might become someday. Because what we're finding out is happening is when people have the courage, when they take this step to come to Memory Cafe for the first time or the second time, which takes a lot of courage.
Mm-hmm.
Most people say we're not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Well, we work with people with early to mid-stage memory loss. We don't require a diagnosis. So when people are starting to notice that there are changes in how their brain is working or how their loved one's brain is working, it's time to come to Memory Cafe. You don't have to wait in fact, it's maybe too late, because we work with people with early to mid-stage memory loss and their care partners. So what we're finding out is happening is to live a life of isolation, which is one of the biggest problems we find, is that the person living with the memory loss pretends or denies that there are things happening with his or her brain, and so they just ignore it, or if they are aware of it, they hide. They don't want people to find out because they're afraid of being embarrassed or humiliated or put on the spot with these questions that we always ask people. And their care partners want to protect their family, want to protect the reputation of them as a couple. They want to protect their loved one, and so they isolate themselves at home. What they find when they come to Memory Cafe is that is a very unsustainable lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you're not fooling anybody, really. And if you're concerned about the health of your loved one or your own brain, it's time to come to Memory Cafe then. You don't have to wait for anything. And what we're finding is people who make these connections, these are beautiful, sustained friendships that last to the end of the disease. People attend each other's funerals.
Yeah.
People attend respite care together because they've met at Memory Cafe and they've formed beautiful friendships. So one of the most unfortunate things, I think, what we do with people with memory loss for any medical reason, but especially people who are living with memory loss caused by a Alzheimer's disease or a different form of dementia, is we shoot them to the end of their diagnosis immediately. As soon as they find out Janae has the courage to tell me that she's mild cognitive impairment or she's got early onset Alzheimer's disease, I immediately shoot her to the end of the disease and make these assumptions and judgments about how she can interact with me, what she might enjoy, how I should respond to her. We don't do that with other diseases. You know, one of my very dear friends died of breast cancer. When she told me she had breast cancer, I didn't assume that she was going to be at the end of her life and living with oxygen and unable to walk, unable to breathe on her own. But we do that consistently as a culture for people who are living with memory loss, especially, again, if it's caused by Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. And the truth is, people can live beyond their Alzheimer's disease and beyond their dementia, beyond their memory loss from Parkinson's disease or other diseases, if they're given the tools, if they leave their homes, and if they engage their brains and engage themselves with other people who are walking a similar journey. It's beautiful. And so, you know, we have people in the men's group on Monday mornings. We have a men's group and the women's group. The women meet in one room, the men meet in another room. And in the men's group, it's composed of community leaders. Like my husband is one of the leaders, and there's several other of his friends who are still working outside the home. They're bankers. All three of them happen to be bankers. And then they have the care partners of men who are living with their spouses, who are living with memory loss. And then they also have people who are living with a disease, men who are living with a disease. We had, I think, 24 people at that group this last week on Monday, just yesterday. And you can't tell who's living with a disease and who's the care partner, because they all engage. They all meaningfully engage with each other. They have fun. They try selling their boats. They try to impress each other with the biggest fish they caught, you know, and they talk about some serious issues as well. So it's an issue of getting out of your house. You know, stop pretending that there's anything changing and that you're hiding from people, and just engage with life to the best you can, and we will help you do that very, very well.
It's a way to keep living after the diagnosis.
It sure is. That's what Dr. Lindsay Dahl says. This is a living beyond your dementia. It's living beyond. She's a Sanford geriatrician who's just a big supporter. Many of the doctors in the community are. They all love what we're doing here. So
well, and letting people know too that you're not alone with this.
Absolutely.
Just don't isolate yourself, because it could lead to other things like depression and, you know, whatever the worse onset of something like that is. It's, you know, there is life to be led yet.
Right.
So.
And a lot of moments of joy. We don't sugarcoat anything. We're not pretending that this is an easy disease or this is nothing to be concerned about. Both of my parents lived with various causes of Alzheimer's, of dementia. My dad had Lewy body dementia. My mother had Alzheimer's type. The co-founder had Parkinson's disease. Her dad had Parkinson's. So we understand. We've lived with this disease as children, not as a spouse, and it's different. And so we understand that there are some serious issues and transitions that are very difficult. But we also understand that you can live well with this disease if you engage with other people and if you engage with the community. We do community service projects. We want to remind our people, and we want to remind the community that people living with memory loss are intrinsically beautiful and they're intrinsically valuable, and we still need them as a community. There are things, we made 100 blankets in 90 minutes.
Wow.
And we gave them to 5 area nonprofits at Christmas. That's a tradition of community outreach, of paying it forward that Memory Cafe does every year at Christmas. So we made these 100 blankets. They went to children who are being served by 5 beautiful nonprofits. And we do that every year. So we are actively engaging our people in the community. We're starting to sponsor a dementia-friendly chorus. That's going to be coming up this spring. And we're very delighted to partner with the Deb McTaggart and her husband, who are starting that, and really working on creating meaningful art and music. It's just, those are areas of the brain that are often spared by the presence of a dementia type process. So we're working really hard to develop art programs and music programs and other community engagement opportunities. Again, working with other nonprofits. Intergenerational things. We work with area school children, to bring those little kiddos in, and all of us, of course,
I bet
love
they
that.
love that.
They do, yes, and so do I.
Yeah.
We had a little guy from Ed Clapp who told us at that blanket project, he said, he was working across from me at the table, and he said, I'm finding out that I kind of like working with these old people. But he said, I don't think they like being called old, do they?
No.
So I said, no, yeah.
How precious is that?
I know, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you have a testimonial.
I do have a testimonial, yes.
Yeah,
And this
let's
is from
hear the testimonial.
one of our caregivers. So this is somebody that just presented this to me yesterday. She's a woman who did not come with her partner to meet people while they were both able to attend Memory Cafe. It was too late. She didn't start early enough, and they didn't start early enough attending, but this is just the support that she received from us as her husband was in the later stages of the disease. So she writes, Alzheimer's disease was just another illness, or so I thought. Never could I have imagined how this illness was going to change and affect my spouse's life and mine. I watched it take away his memory day after day, and I was helpless to do anything about it. I was thinking, unable to breathe, eat, sleep, or think. Then an angel from Memory Cafe by the name of Carolyn took my hand. She was so kind and caring, but I remember thinking, really, how can Memory Cafe help me? Trust me, they saved me. They are angels sent from God with uplifting voices, warm, caring hearts, and always ready to help anyone in need. I cannot list all of the positive, caring words to describe what Memory Cafe means to me. Their support made me know and feel that I was not alone. Thank you, Memory Cafe, for your loving support, and God bless you all.
Oh, how wonderful is that? That I have tears, actually. Yeah. How wonderful is that?
Very kind, yeah.
Yes, and again, this is somebody that could have been attending much earlier so that her partner could have really experienced the benefits of this as well. So yeah, and we have a beautiful board of directors who are deeply committed to our mission. We have a team, we call them the dream team of volunteers, and they are just so committed to our people, and we just learned we're dear friends.
Yeah.
We're dear friends with each other. And this is all about just caring for one another like we're called to do as a community. So we do it well, I think, for the memory loss community. And we're really privileged to do it.
Yeah. And Deb, how can the community help you?
The community can help by helping to spread the word. If you're living with memory loss, you're noticing that you or your loved one is living with memory loss, just come and check us out. You can go on our website. You can call for information. I'll give you the phone number. It's 701-404-6712. If you're a care partner, a caregiver, we have once a month the only event that's only for the care partner, and that meets tomorrow actually at 1 o'clock at our downtown center. That's our Caregiver Cafe. So you'll be warmly welcome to come to that. The average attendance is about 16 people, so it's a well run. It's very beautifully run, and it's a very well supported and attended caregiver group. So that would be another wonderful way, is just to start coming to our Monday events. 9 to 11 is the coffee and conversation. And on Monday afternoons, we always have some educational event or musical event or art event. It's 1:30 to 2:30. And then we meet on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, at 1 to 2:30. Right now we're meeting at Bethel Church, and we'll be meeting at the Yumcomb Center in Moorhead. So check out our website. It's Memory Cafe RRV, stands for redrivervalley.org. for more information.
And I'll post that link up on our Facebook page as well, so people can go on there and grab it there. Do you take donations?
We sure do. We depend. We're a 501c3.
Yep.
We depend on our donations. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. All of our events are free, so we don't charge our people for anything. It's all free, and our board is deeply committed to that. The other thing we're doing is trying to branch out to other communities around the region, because every community should have a memory cafe. This disease and memory loss is so prevalent all over the world.
And it's a very common disease.
It's a very common disease.
All over, and you're right, every community should have one. I think this is a wonderful program you have going on.
Thank you. Yeah, the mental health issues are significant.
Yep.
Arlene, your caller, I just happened to catch her a few minutes ago before I came on. She's in the hospital. She's a caregiver. And now I don't know her history at all, but there's the physical risk of caregiving for people who are living with dementia are very significant.
Yeah.
And there's a two times higher chance that the caregiver will develop dementia themselves, because oftentimes it's because of this isolation. They just try to do it alone, and it's unsustainable. Can't do that alone.
It's such a sad disease, for people suffering with it, and also for the caregivers.
Right. Right.
You know,
But there is a lot of joy. You know, there are moments of joy. Again, we're not sugarcoating anything, but we can have moments of joy. We can feel meaningfully engaged in the community. We can find meaningful purpose if we're willing to think outside the box, leave the comfort and safety of our home, and come to events like Memory Cafe.
and you can live beyond the diagnosis.
You can live beyond the diagnosis, yeah, and we're privileged to help you do that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Deb, thank you so much for taking the time
Yes,
and
thank you.
chatting with us today about Memory Cafe. Again, a wonderful program. And we're going to get your website link up on our Facebook page so our listeners can go on there and grab it. And I already saw there's a button where you can click to donate too.
Perfect.
Thank you,
so
Deb.
very much.
You're
for
so
your
very
interest.
welcome.
You bet. Bye-bye now.
All right, more on the Coffee Club.